Welcome to the Brevosidy. I'm Brevon, and gaming is more popular now than ever due to the pandemic. With so many people experiencing video games that never have before, there's bound to be a large portion who want to experience an enthralling story in an interesting world, while making choices to alter the story or characters. Role-playing games, also known as RPGs, can offer this experience, with their main draw being your control over who your character is and how the story will play out. But RPGs are one of the more notoriously complicated video game genres, and all the numbers, skills, and systems in some RPGs can be daunting for newcomers. Today I want to talk about some of the best RPGs for beginners that you can enjoy no matter who you are, and will help you learn the basics of how most role-playing games operate. So, whether you yourself are new to role-playing games or you're an RPG veteran looking to get a friend or family member into the genre, here's the Brevosity's top 5 role-playing games for beginners. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it, comment your first RPG, and subscribe to the Brevosity for more content like this. So this list isn't in any specific order. Each of these games is good for beginners in its own respective way, and first on our list, we have the Fable series. Fable is an Xbox exclusive series, with the first being released in 2004 on the original Xbox, followed by 2 sequels on the 360. It is a fantasy role-playing series that takes place in the very witty and very British world of Albion. Your character can be either a great hero or terrifying villain through the choices you make throughout your journey. Each game uses a fairly simple third-person action combat system with melee, ranged, and magic attacks, each respectively placed on the X, Y, and B buttons. It is easily picked up and enjoyed by most people. All 3 games also give you the freedom to interact with the world in whatever way you choose, with its denizens reacting to what you do. You can dress how you like, with NPCs being disgusted or enthralled by your choice of attire. You can make friends or murder most NPCs, have a loving marriage or 3, divorce, or kill your spouses, as well as work different jobs, buy homes, run businesses, or even steal from those same homes and businesses. Fable lets you live your life the way you want to in this fantasy world. These light sandbox elements, reminiscent of The Sims and its witty humor, are what made the game's appeal to mainstream audiences. While the first game is a fun romp through a fantastical world, its clunky gameplay, ill-explained systems, and an overall dated feel make its 2 sequels the better choice for a beginner to play through. While the games were criticized for being oversimplified and under-delivering on the promise made by the developers, these shortcomings actually make it a fantastic experience for beginners of gaming or RPGs. Anyone who enjoys games like The Sims but is looking for a compelling story and an interesting world to explore should check out the Fable series. For number 2, we have the recently released Mass Effect Legendary Edition, a third-person shooter sci-fi trilogy where your choices from the first game can have effects in the third. Mass Effect has a focus on being cinematic and film-like in its cutscenes, and anyone who is a fan of third-person shooters will warm up to Mass Effect Legendary's combat rather quickly, as it utilizes similar cover and shooting mechanics while adding a few layers with its companions and powers. Playing as Commander Shepard, an agent of the intergalactic government, you must stop a galaxy-destroying threat known as the Reapers, with not only your guns but the choices you make throughout the series. Mass Effect's dialogue and choice systems are much simpler than some RPGs, with BioWare's patented dialogue wheel that allows you to choose from 2 moral codes, being the nice and encouraging Paragon, or the stern and intimidating Renegade, allowing you to have a more guided experience overall. Mass Effect is known for its excellently written dialogue and characters. The most important of these many characters you'll interact with throughout the series are its companions. These are members of your team that will comment on the situations you get in and the choices you make, with each companion having a detailed backstory you can learn by talking to them, as well as changing who they may become later in the series with the choices you make. While the series ran from 2007 to 2012, the Legendary Edition is a remaster making the visuals, gameplay, and performance stand up to more modern expectations. With these changes, Mass Effect Legendary is one of the best places for anyone to start their journey with RPGs, especially if they enjoy cinematic third-person shooters similar to Uncharted or Gears of War. At number 3, we have a bit of an unorthodox choice, that being the recently released Wasteland 3. This game is a special case here on our list as it's the best beginner isometric RPG. An isometric has a top-down camera placed at an isometric angle for better viewing, as you can see here. These games are usually among the most complicated of the entire genre, with games like Baldur's Gate and Fallout 1 making even some RPG veterans scratch their head. Wasteland 3 sought to change that with sleek modern graphics as well as a more simplified turn-based combat system and better explained skill systems. And even full co-op throughout the entire game, meaning you can play with someone more experienced in RPGs to guide you, or help someone less experienced than you starting their first campaign in an isometric. Many years after a nuclear war destroyed most of civilization, similar to Fallout or any other post-apocalyptic situation, as a member of the post-apocalyptic Desert Rangers, you're tasked with surviving in the frozen Colorado wasteland and dealing with the dictator of Colorado, known as the Patriarch. You'll deal in the politics of these post-nuclear tribes with brain and brawn, with a plethora of different difficulty options, including a tourist mode for those who don't enjoy combat at all. Wasteland 3's story and all the ways you can interact and twist with it are able to be experienced by anyone. Fourth on our list, we have The Outer Worlds, a pulp serial-styled adventure in a dystopian future universe in which a conglomerate of megacorporations control a colony in a distant solar system. Everyone in this colony is employees and property of each of these corporations. You are an unknown variable in all this, being a recently arrived colonist who isn't owned by any of these corporations, although you have many options to sell yourself to them in the future. You'll have many choices in this goofy corporate satire that more often or not will provide a consistent, well-written laugh. It's a first-person affair with its gameplay consisting mainly of dialogue, combat, and exploration. It includes a litany of skills which values determine how you interact with the world around you, such as the 3 skills associated with dialogue, being lie, persuade, or intimidate, as well as dialogue options related to non-dialogue skills, such as medical or guns, allowing you to tell someone information about their weapon or their particular medical issue. The skills are grouped into 7 categories to make creating a character build much easier for newcomers. Usually, you'll have 2 or 3 different ways to handle a situation, as well as 2 or 3 different paths to take to continue forward. The Outer Worlds is a very guided, linear affair for the most part, though, making sure that newer players always know where to go and don't get lost. Its first-person combat will feel right at home to anyone who's played first-person shooters in the past, with a decently straightforward loot system that offers a variety of items to use, with it almost never being unclear what each item does or what item is better. The Outer Worlds also has many choices that can change your path throughout its story, although it is always clear what the consequences of your choices will be and where they will take you. Its simplified gameplay and more guided world make The Outer Worlds a good fit for inexperienced players. Lastly, we have Skyrim, the quintessential RPG for beginners that almost everyone has played. Skyrim is a very simplified RPG, the 5th in the Elder Scrolls series, although you don't need to play any previous titles to enjoy it. Skyrim takes place in a more grounded fantasy world with a deep history, full of many races, including elves, different types of humans, and anthropomorphic races such as the cat-like Khajiit and the Argonian lizardmen. In this world, you take the role of the Dragonborn, a being with the power to suck the souls from dragons and speak their language. Your main goal is to stop the great dragon Alduin and his plot to destroy the world. It offers an expansive open world that allows you to travel wherever you want, whenever you want, and you have the choice of joining many different organizations, including a mage's college, the Companions, an honorary band of mercenaries, and even an assassin group known as the Dark Brotherhood. It's played in first or third person with dialogue options, although it's mainly focused on combat, with a fun and simple to understand system, utilizing 3 main combat styles being melee, stealth, and magic. Its skill system allows players to upgrade each skill simply by using it. So if you attack enemies with a sword, you'll upgrade your one-handed weapon skill, and if you attack enemies with magic, you'll upgrade that spell category. Once skills reach a certain level, you'll be able to pick perks with more substantial upgrades. With tons of beautiful locations and a plethora of enemy types to slay, Skyrim's combat and exploration can continue to be enjoyable for many, many hours. Just ask the hundreds of people whose first RPG was Skyrim. Although it may be a while before you get into more advanced RPGs, considering those people are still playing Skyrim today, a decade after launch. If you own next-gen consoles, the best way to pick up Skyrim would be the Anniversary Edition coming out within the next few months, I believe. So, that's our list, though, for the best beginner RPGs. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit us up with a like for the algorithm. Tell us what you think is the best RPG for beginners, or what was your first RPG in the comments below. and subscribe to the Brevosidy for more content like this.